We are now live. Everybody, what is going on? It's your man, Lenny Smith. Welcome to Wholesaling with Lenny. Guys, I want to introduce my special guest today. Okay, Meek the House Geek. Okay, now Meek the House Geek has pretty much mentored me on a few things, man, along my way, man. I really appreciate it, man. And I'm really excited, man, to get this thing underway. So, hey, Meek, man, welcome to the podcast, man. Go ahead and tell the people
What
about you.
up? What up? Um, Shit, I don't even really know. Can I cuss on here?
You can do what
I
you
meant
want
to
to do.
ask you that before we got live.
I don't think no kids watching, so you got to be 18 and
Um,
over to wholesale real estate. So,
yeah. So I'm just from Cleveland, single mother of 4 kids. Um, been an entrepreneur my whole life, and really just take opportunities and run with them. You already know.
no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. So, we have been through a few business ventures together. Okay, there's times where you employed me, I employed you, and it wasn't that kind of situation, but what I mean, like I had an opportunity, you jumped in, you had an opportunity, I jumped in. So, I tell people, to this day, whenever they ask me, how did I get into real estate? And I tell him, I said, well, I got a friend who basically told me one day while we was talking that she's not selling anything anymore, right? She's not selling any more cable, any more free phones, any more packages, things of this nature, and that you was actually doing real estate. Now
Okay.
at this time, I was thinking, I was like, oh shit, okay, she's talking about doing real estate. Like I was telling a friend the other day, I remember like it was a chick I was dating that was like 19 or whatever. And I remember she was saying she was gonna get a real estate license back then. And I was like, ah yeah, whatever. So, like I've always heard people say, now I'm about to get into real estate or real estate this, real estate that. But then, like I never knew anybody who kind of like who jumped in the game and became successful, not overnight. It just looks overnight to somebody looking in, but somebody who jumped in the game, you know, stood 10 toes down, did the work, kept a shovel in her hand, you know. And, when you told me, that you was wholesaling real estate, I was like, yeah, go ahead, do that. So, I just want to know real quick, like, what made you like how did you get started in wholesaling real estate?
So for real, I always wanted to be in real estate because we all know that majority of the millionaires come from real estate. But it was always one of those things, kind of like you said, like I never really knew nobody that was successful in it. I always kind of wanted to get my real estate license and be a realtor, and that was the real estate that I knew. Or caveat to that was, you have to have a whole bunch of money to buy real estate and become an investor. So if I'm honest, I really don't even know how I got introduced to wholesaling. Probably just going down the rabbit hole, which is usually, how I find stuff and opportunities. But it was about 2015 when I was living in Raleigh, North Carolina. I stumbled across something, went to a class, a seminar, or something, and was like, yo, I could do that. But the funny thing is, like you mentioned, it looks like an overnight success. I came back home to Cleveland in like the middle of 15, end up going to go get a job because I had lost everything, right? Like I had no car. I was sleeping on my mom's basement, me and four little yip yaps, right? And I said, I'm about to do this thing. So I bought business cards, bandit signs, which was why I really got the job for real, so I could afford to get the shit that they were telling me to get on all these videos that I had been watching. And I didn't close my first deal though until like the end of 2017. So it was like I was going to the RIA meetings. I had linked up with Rob the house guy. That's where Meek the house geek came from. My sister used to always call me Meek the geek, but I threw house in there. But I used to meet up with those guys every Tuesday, every Friday, and just like get all of the knowledge that I could get. But at the end of the day, it took me 2 years to close my first deal.
So no, we actually hear that a lot with new new wholesalers, new realtors, things of this nature in the field, right? So let's just backtrack on that a bit. When you said it literally took you 2 years, right? Now I remember not last week on the podcast, Jay said it took him 2 years as
Yep.
well. So was you on that same like that same path with Jay to the point where like I'm gonna consume everything that I can before I jump off the porch?
Um, I can't really say that I was trying to consume it because I've never been that type of person. Like you and I are like you see it, you get it, you jump in. It was more so I was like, I need all of these tools. Like I need the website, I need the business cards, I need the LLC, I need, you know what I'm saying, earnest money deposit, right? Like I needed all of these things and I wasn't really ready. I didn't think I was ready anyway. And when I tell y'all how I got my first deal, you're gonna be like, what?
Yeah, we definitely got to get juicy on that. We got to
Right.
get juicy on that. So, like, like you touched on, always wanted to be a realtor. That's something that I was really, really wanted to ask you. You know what I mean? So, like, so do you feel like your dance in wholesaling prepared you to be a better realtor?
You know what? You know your girl gonna keep it real, right?
I got you. That's why you're here. I
So
already know.
for real, like it was the mindset, like I need to be a realtor in order to sell houses, which is true. Like you need to have a real estate license in order to sell houses. Um, to be a realtor was just, again, it was something that I thought I needed to do in order to be in real estate. But there's so many ways to make money in real estate, right? It's just I didn't know what I didn't know. So becoming a realtor was actually, I became a realtor because in Ohio they started cracking down on the wholesaling and was like, yo, in order for these wholesalers to make deals, y'all don't have to get your license. So by the time I got my license, I had a couple dollars to pay for the class and get my license. But if I'm honest, I'm not even, I mean, I hold my license to give me access to the MLS. I've been licensed since 2018 and I've probably done maybe 5 deals as a realtor. And it was for real. My investors either wanted to buy a house or sell one on the MLS. So I've
Right.
never done a first time home buyer. I've never done somebody that bought a house that wanted to live in it. My niche is investors, and that's what I do. But and I just got licensed in North Carolina too, and I've been licensed here since April, and I just signed up with a brokerage. Like I'm in the middle of getting with another brokerage down here, but it's really like, I mean, if you want to be a realtor and you want to drive people around all day and show them houses until they fall in love with one after seeing a million, that's some people do it.
Yeah, definitely. So I like that because I've always thought about getting my realtor license, but it was like strictly for the MLS access on something that I may flip one day, right? I can flip it, I can get the commission, I can, you know what I mean? I can do the whole dance with it. And a lot of realtors don't think like that, right? And then I know, like, I want to get your opinion on the influx of realtors during COVID, right? Because
Hmm.
it seems like you got companies like EXP, you had companies like Keller Williams. I mean, during COVID, these people were signing up 1,000 agents a month.
Right,
You know what
right.
I mean? During COVID, so like, but you being in the field, but working with investors particularly, how did that influx of realtors into the market, help or hinder your business?
I don't think it helped or hindered either way, right? Um, if there was a hindrance, it was, you know what I'm saying, the market changed, so it made it a little more difficult to get a deal at a lower price because, you know, the sellers was like, oh, this person sold this house for $100 million and I want $100 million too. That might have been the only hindrance, you know, with that whole deal. But realtors don't, and I say this as a realtor. So when I say this, is like, you know, I'm a
Right.
realtor too. So, but most realtors don't get the game, right? Most realtors are sales agents. I think I seen you say something about, you know, real estate agents are salespeople,
Yeah.
right? Like that's what they do. They sell houses.
Yeah. That's literally the
Um,
fact. Yeah.
right. Like people like you and me, and I think I heard Jay say that too. Like we here to help people, right? Like so I like working with investors because they're non-emotional. Like they want to be able to they buy a house that look good. They don't care where it's at, where it
Right.
sit, how it look, what color the kitchen is. And so for me, it's like, you know, the businesses that we come from, the background that we come from, we like residual income, right? And so my investor buyer is gonna buy over and over and over again. My first time home buyer, somebody buying a house for their family, they don't buy once, maybe three times in their whole lifetime, right? So when the market changed and those realtors started going out there, it's cool because they set us up for the future anyway. So
Mhm.
it's gonna be good in the next, you know what I'm saying, 18 months. Like, so
Exactly.
really they did us a favor.
Most definitely, man. Most definitely. Like, what is one thing, like, because I know, we just talked about how most realtors, like, it's literally one and done with a realtor unless they're working with investors, right? Because, like you said, that one person, they might buy a house once or, two, three times during their whole life, right? What is one thing, what is one job or, field of expertise that you would say that almost no one agrees with you about, right? As far as, it could be as far as, owner options or, how to handle, sellers or, FHA or, anything like that.
You know, in this industry, which is my favorite, right? Like out of all the things we've done, a lot of people probably, I would say, nobody said it to my face, but they probably be like, I'll be too real, right? Because in this game, it's a shark eat shark. I heard you say like we all in one big old shark tank, right? Um, but I come real because I want my clients to know what it really is. So I'm not overselling, right? When I talk to another wholesaler, they bring me a deal and you know, I'm like, yo, this don't make sense. I can't sell this to my buyer. I don't care if it's 50 million on an assignment agreement. If it don't make sense for my buyer or my client, I'm not selling it, right? Like I don't want to touch it. And I've had a lot of pushback, like, come on, let's get this deal closed. And I'm like, no, I'm good. Like I
Yeah,
only want to sell a product that I would be proud of selling, right? Like I only
I
want
get
to
it.
attach my name to something that matters.
Yeah, I get it. It took me a while, but I came up to the realization as a wholesaler to where if I wouldn't buy the property at that price, don't lock it up at that.
Yep. Just that simple.
If I wouldn't buy it at that price, don't lock it up at that price, right? So I
Yep.
definitely get that. So when we was talking about the repeat investors and how you wouldn't make that deal happen, because of your investors and how your investors, how we turn those investors into, residual or reoccurring income, right? So I want to move over to the property management side, right? Because you do got a property management company, right? You do manage a few hundred properties. And so, let's dig into that, like, because I know you as being a people person, right? I know you as being someone who's strict on business, right? Easy on relationships, right? And you also a relationship builder. So how did you? What propelled you to take on a bigger role for the investors? By starting a property management company.
Whew. property management, man, you gotta be cut out. You gotta be different for that business for real, right? But if I'm honest, like again, as a servant leader, as a person that want to serve their clients, property management is always gonna be the thing that drops the ball with people keep to continue to buy from you. So they'll buy property from you, or a contract, so to speak, right? And they'll get it rehab, but they can't find tenants. It's sitting there for months, or it's crappy tenants inside the property. So what I found about 3 years into the game, it was like I'm selling these properties, I'm wholesaling, but my clients, they buy one or two and then they quit, right? The name of the game is to keep them buying, keep them happy. And so I actually started placing tenants. And then other property management companies, at the time I wasn't a property manager, was like, we don't want her tenants, right? Like, we want to place our own tenants. That's how we make money. And I get it now as a manager.
Right.
So that became a problem. And then I was like, as bad as I didn't want to, all of my mentors told me not to. I still pulled the trigger and end up starting the property management company, more so that I can guarantee the product, right? Like, hey, this property is a good property. We can get tenants. This is how much the rent is gonna be, or whatever. And it was to strengthen the relationships with my clients. People, that's your previous question was like, what's one of the things somebody might say about going against the grain, right? Well, that's one of the things, because some people are like, well, you trying to be a one-stop shop. And it wasn't that I was trying to be a one-stop shop. It was just I wanted to ensure my clients that their product that they were getting from me was a good product, right? And a lot of wholesalers, they'll say, this house on such and such street can rent for $1,100 to make a sale to get that ARV and ROI up. And then it gets to me and it's like, no, this house is really going to work, rent for $650 or $700. And then it ruins the relationship with my clients. So that's how I got the property management company. I don't market. I don't take outside clients. I only manage properties for the clients whom I bring a property to.
Perfect. Now that sounds like a foolproof plan. I wonder why people said don't do it.
Because it's tough, man. It's tough.
Yeah, I found out the other day people were saying that there's a few people here, well, it is. They were saying that you have to have a broker license in Missouri to have a private management company, and there's like tons of real estate agents down here that without brokers, they got private management companies, right? So
Yeah.
when people say stuff like that, I kind of edge them on to like, what you don't want the competition? You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
Like, why are you telling me don't get in this space? Like, what's going on with the space?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So
It's a tough space though.
definitely,
Really tough.
I bet. So in the property management space, what's one lesson that it's taught you that you think everyone should learn at some point in their life?
About property management?
Yeah, definitely. Like, what's one thing that you think everybody should learn? Like, just one lesson that you learned in property management that you could apply, to maybe, let's say, bagging somebody's groceries.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because you already brought up servant.
Right.
So, which is,
You have to be in property management, right? It is like, I just texted one of my clients. She texted me and she was popping fly, but then she asked for a favor, and I just text her back simply, you get more bees with honey, right? In property management, the biggest thing is that it's like you the middleman. You got to keep your tenant happy and you got to keep your investor happy, right? So it's almost like you playing both sides of the fence, right? So
right.
you got to be neutral, right? And that's probably one of the biggest things. And I tell my team, I'm like, look, the tenants pay our rent, right? Like, when they pay their rent, they pay our rent. You know what I
Right.
mean? So we want to make sure that they good.
Most definitely, man. Most definitely. So, like, what is the favorite part about property management? What is your favorite part about
That my clients gonna come back and buy more properties after I get them set up and everything good, because anything
Facts,
else I hate.
facts. Now, what's the least favorite part about it, right? Because we spoke real quick before you answer. We had spoke a while back, right, about it was during COVID. A few people
Hmm.
wasn't paying. You know what I mean? Even though it's the first of the month,
Right.
rent's due. People wasn't paying. But besides that, though, like, what is like the least favorite part of the job? To date, like,
The least favorite part of property management, and unfortunately, this is something, so they'll probably hate on me when I say this, but a lot of these properties that we manage and that our investor, clients buy are in the lower income communities, right? And my least favorite part is that a lot of our residents they don't have the home ownership mentality, even though they're renters. And sometimes I just wish I could reach into, the community and just be like, give some personal development, right? Like,
yeah,
just
yeah,
kind of give back so that, they can go from being renters to homeowners, that kind of thing. So sometimes I kind of I take things, some of my clients be like, you're so emotional, and I am definitely emotionally attached to my residents, right? Like, I just want the best for them. I want to provide them with a great place to live. At the same time, I just wish they can get it, right?
right, exactly. Exactly. So, like, on top of being a realtor, running, property management company, and still wholesaling, like, what does your morning routine look
Well, I don't do a lot of wholesaling anymore, right? Property management has taken me away from a lot of stuff that I've done. So I probably only wholesaling a few deals a month. But my morning routine really, I'm trying to detach more from it. Like I said, I'm emotionally attached so much. And you already know, Linnell, like, I like my things to be right. I like things to be done. So I'm up all night. So just recently, for like the last couple months, I when I wake up at 6 in the morning. I usually go on a mile walk just to kind of get my blood pumping. And I just recently created a war room, a prayer room. So I go in there and just try and one side of it is where I got all of my scripture and stuff, and then the other side is like where I got my vision boards and stuff. So it's like I'll sit this way for about 15 minutes and I'll pray. Then I'll turn the other way and start meditating, on my vision and stuff like that. Um, and then after that, my first team call is at 9 o'clock in the morning. So I do a Zoom every morning at 9 o'clock with my team. So I rile myself up to get on the phone on Zoom with my team at 9, and that's my day. That's how I get it started every day.
most definitely, most definitely. So the transition from being in Cleveland, right? Being in Cleveland, being in office with your team versus being in North Carolina now. Like, how has that transition been so far?
I have an awesome team, right? And it's only four of them. So um, I miss them. I miss our raw rides in the morning personally, right? But
Definitely.
the transition hasn't been bad at all. I'm only about 8 hours from Cleveland, so I could jump on the highway whenever. I probably been there in 2022. I probably been there 9, 10 times already. So I'm very active still. The transition isn't really hard, but I'm a control freak. So some days, most days, I wish I was there to handle
Yeah,
things on my own.
most definitely.
But my team hold me down for the most part.
That's what's up, man. Shout out to the team at KeyMeek, y'all. Y'all keep doing y'all thing. Y'all keep giving this lady some peace as y'all keep rolling on this journey, man. You do talk about a lot of influences, and I know that your dad was a big influence on your life, and I know that we both lost our dads, whatever. And my dad was a big influence on my life, man. Tell me about three, most influential people in your life, and how those three people impacted you, and how those three people impact you today.
Whew, okay. See, I should have got these questions early. No, I'm just playing. So, my spiritual mother is who I call her. I met her in 2007. She's actually down here in North Carolina. One of the reasons why I moved here. She is the most God-fearing woman I've ever met, and she's very influential in my life because she's been married for like 38 years, right? She's an awesome mom, awesome wife, and I aspire to be like her, right? So I met her. She actually introduced me to network marketing back in 2007, and she just became I adopted her, you know what I'm saying? So she's one. I know this is gonna sound weird, but my babies, they inspire me. They influence me to just continue to rock, to continue to grind. They're probably my number one reason, right? Like I'll do anything for them. And then I'd have to say, I have to say, I don't know, so many people, right? Like even you, right?
Yep.
Like I watch your grind, man. Like I'm like, man, look at Linnell. Like he just boom, jumped out there, like just
Kind of.
boom, get it, just
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
That's what inspired me, man. Like I love to see everybody win, but when you hit me up and you be like, yo, get your ass up, let's go. I
Yeah.
mean that.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, man. That's what it's all about, basically, man. Keeping lasting strong relationships. You know what I mean? So I'm always here for that, man. Most definitely, man.
Right, for sure.
You've been through a lot, right? Like I was telling people, we first met through mutual friends, right? Through we was in the
Mutual people.
mutual people who was in the telecommunications industry together,
Mm-hmm.
working Lifeline, right? And now doing Lifeline, you had you had a lot going on, right? Because you are an entrepreneur, you have a lot of stuff going on, and so like if you could start a new business tomorrow, what would that be?
Mm. Um, I don't know. I'll start any business. Like if it makes sense, it'll make money. I can help people. I don't have a regret or something that I wish. If anything, I wish I would have went to school to be a lawyer. But that's probably like the only thing that I would do over if I
Mm,
had to. Owning a law firm, I guess.
right, definitely, man. So as a property manager, as a property management owner, like what is one piece of advice that you would give someone who's watching us right now who want to start a property management
Don't do it. No. Um, I would really say like you have to do your homework and your research. Most people think property management is just placing tenants and collecting rent, but it's way more to that. You have to be emotionally available. You have to be physically available. You have to be on call all the time. There is no holidays or weekends. So before jumping into it, like you're managing people, you're managing people's money, you're managing people's assets, right? So it's just more than collecting rent. And I think when I started managing properties, that was my mindset. Like, it can't be too hard. You just place tenants and collect rent.
account? Right, most definitely. So you saying there's a bunch of moving parts that
Absolutely.
somebody definitely have to, like you say, do some research, prepare, learn, what I mean? Like suggest like would you suggest do you think, like I was saying earlier, there's a lot of realtors here with property management. Have you had a run in with like other property managers who just say like might not be like top notch property managers?
Property management is such a different. I was on a call today with a guy in Toledo, and I'm actually talking to him about partnering and him taking more of a significant role in the property management company. And he was telling me how he lives in Toledo. He owns properties in Cleveland, and he's like, I started this property management company because I went through 6 property managers in
Wow.
Cleveland. It's such a it's a very difficult business, and you have to be you have to be the right person to do it, right? And so it's not that property management companies suck, right? Like the whole industry suck, and then the type of properties that we're managing are challenging, right? Um, and then you have some of the people that own the properties, they don't want to take care of the property. So it's a whole bunch of different things. So to say if I had a run in with a property management company, I'll say no, right? Because we all go through the same things. You know what I mean? Are there better property management companies? Absolutely. And if you have a property manager company on here next week and you ask them about KeyMeek, they'll probably say KeyMeek suck too, right? Because it's just the name of the game. Like it's it's a tough business. It is really a tough business.
Definitely, man. Yeah, definitely. Business is business, man. I remember the first time when I saw a McDonald's commercial and they was dissing Wendy's, and I was like, "Ooh, this is what they do."
Right.
You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
was like, "Well, this is what they do," but all spirit and essence and business. You know what I mean?
You
So
know.
yeah, that's pretty cool, man. If you could write a book tomorrow about all this, about your journey, what would you write about?
Um, I will write about making a decision, right? I think that's one of the biggest things. I'm actually in my head, I got a book and it's called Ready, Set, Go, right? Um, but that's what I would talk about. Like you make it, or my second book is gonna be called Nobody Gives a Fuck, right? Like you
Yes.
just gotta get out there and grind, and you gotta make a decision, and then you just gotta grind, whatever it is. If you want to be a teacher, a hairstylist, right, a realtor, a wholesaler, investor, whatever, cell phones. You just gotta grind. You gotta give it all you got, and not come up with these bullshit ass excuses, right? Like you just gotta do what you do. And that's what my book is gonna talk about. You know, no matter what your circumstance is. When I started wholesaling, I was living in public housing, right? First time in my life, 32, 34 years old, living in public housing, right? Wholesaling. And you best believe everybody was like, how you gonna sell houses and you living in the PJs? Right?
Yeah, right. Most definitely,
So,
man. So from that is awesome, man. So you definitely like we came a long way
for sure.
from living in the PJs, man. Um, yeah, definitely, man. Definitely moving on up, right?
Yep.
As they say, fish don't fry in the kitchen, beans
Yeah.
don't burn on the grill. Took a whole lot of trying just to
Yep.
get up that hill. Okay. So yeah, man, that's definitely awesome, man. I just love the story. So if what would the title of the book about you be if your worst enemy wrote
These questions. Okay. It would probably be like, damn, she did that shit.
it? I know that's right. That's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. Because you do a lot, man. You do a lot. You do a lot. And, now there's a lot of people proud of you, man. And, you keep a lot of
Appreciate that.
you keep a lot of people moving, man, by doing what you're doing, man. And we definitely appreciate you, man.
That's what's up.
We definitely appreciate you doing, what you're doing, man. So, like, what is, man? I don't know, man. It's so much. Like, I want to ask, like, so when we go back, I want to talk about the money, right? So
Hmm.
I know because you moved to this space and then you started flipping, right? So like that 1 year, y'all made $300,000+ in profit.
Man.
That is astronaut. Listen, from somebody coming from where we come from, and to make that amount of money in a year when the average person where we come from makes about $21,000 a year. So
It's
for you,
crazy.
so for you to 10 times that plus some within a year, like what was the sauce? What was the sauce?
You know what? It was making that decision, right? So one day I was sitting in my apartment, and my babies, they didn't want to go outside and shit like that, right? Like, cause we never really lived in, we always lived in the suburbs, even when I couldn't afford to live in the suburbs. Like, I used to tell my kids, would you rather be the poorest guy on the block or the richest guy on the block? We was always the poorest guy on the block. Like, I'm talking about, my houses ain't have furniture, but they went to Garfield schools, or, Mayfield schools or whatever. And when we lived in these apartments, and the boys didn't want to go outside. Like, they didn't want to go outside. They were embarrassed. They didn't want to have their friends over and stuff like that. And so one day I was like, you know what? I had enough of this shit. Like, I got to get back to the Mika that I know,
Right.
right? And grind. And I just grinded my way out. Like, I didn't arch my eyebrows. I didn't care what I wore. I was really just grinding, and I'm still in that space where I'm still grinding. Came up a little bit for some air, you know what I'm saying? Was able to do some things for the kids, but at the end of the day, that's what I did. I just put my head down and I started grinding. And I never told y'all how I got my first deal, but I always tell people, you need a belief check. And once you get that belief check, sky's the limit, right? Like, it might take you 2 years to get it, but once you get it, you feel it, you touch it, you know that it's real. And to this day, when I close a deal, I want a paper check, right? Because I don't want it to go to my account. I want a paper check. I want to feel it. I don't care if it's for 1,500 or 15,000. You know what I'm saying? And after I got that first one, Linnell, I was like, man, this was the most money I had ever made with a phone call
Yeah.
in my life. And I was like, I could 10x this all day.
I always tell people, if you can do it once, you can do it twice. If you can do
That's
it
it.
twice, you can do it 10 times, right? All you got to
For
do
sure.
is rinse and repeat, right? So slide us through that first deal real quick. Take us through that first deal.
So, like I said, I had bought all of this shit, right? 2 years later, I'm riding with a handwritten bandit sign in the back of the car. And I was driving rentals because we was doing phones and shit, right? And I was jumping in rentals because I ain't have a car and I ain't have no credit to get a car. So I'm in a rental. I'm out on 105, and I'm picking up one of my homeboy's kids from school. And the security guard comes out. He see the sign that never made it to the sidewalk, right? Because in my mind, I would think I was watching Flip Man, and he was like, put the signs out on
Yeah,
Fridays
yeah,
and then go pick them up on
yeah,
Mondays and shit
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. So the sign was in the back of the window, and the security guard walks outside and he said, "Yo, you buy houses?" And I'm like, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
absolutely. And he like, yo, I got this house over here off of Ashbury, my mother, blah, blah, blah. I take my daughter around there like 2 days later. We walked through the house. The house was a real solid house. Actually, my client just flipped it. This was like 4 years ago. And my client just it for like 100-some thousand. But anyway, he only wanted 10,000 for it. And I assigned it for 12.5. So I made 2,500, right? I ain't even really know no better because at the time, like, you talking about 113th and Ashbury,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Big ass 7-bedroom
yeah,
house,
right,
solid.
right.
You know what I'm
Old
saying?
school, yeah.
Yeah. And I flipped it. I remember my daughter, she was like, "Oh, it's creepy in here." I'm like, "Girl, we went outside. I wrote the contract on the fence, right?"
Wow.
Um, and then it was on from there. Like, and it was crazy. I've never posted a bandit sign. Like, I've never put one in the ground.
Wow.
Right? Like, I just started going hard and I started calling, hitting them phones, mailing letters. Um, And it was just on from there. But I remember getting that check, that $2,500 check, right? Again, I'm working at the hospital. We doing phones, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? We made some good money in phones. I ain't gonna lie, and
Yeah,
it was fun.
definitely.
But nevertheless, one pop 2,500. All I did was talk to one person.
Right.
I was like, that's dope. Let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah, I need to talk to more people.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
like, man.
yeah, most definitely. I need to talk to more people. So
Yeah.
like that was so easy. So I just want to touch on the belief check, right? So I always tell people, man, like you literally one check away. You literally one
That's
check
it.
away from changing your whole entire situation, right? And
Yep.
it is like, for instance, for you, you was getting ready to market, but you didn't even market it, right? But you set yourself up to where you was actively about to engage and get this done. And the law of attraction,
For
right?
sure.
The law of attraction, we put it out there. And like you said, you ain't even behind the back seat, you stuck it in the back window. You
Yep.
drive the block, drop the kids off. And lo and behold, somebody sees it. Hey, I got a property for you. So, as far as marketing, you said you never put a bandit sign in the ground or on
Nope.
the pole or anything.
Nope. I think this was 2017. And where we at? In 22, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 5 years. Like, I still have them too. Like, I still have the business cards. At the time, I was rocking SheBuysHouses.com. I still own the
Yeah.
domains. I never even did none of that because what happened was I ran into an investor who's actually one of my business partners right now. On some other stuff, we've done some flips together and a whole bunch of other stuff. But I ran into him. I thought he was a scam. I end up selling it to him. I go to the title company, and the title company say, "Hey, have you ever worked with this guy before?" I was like, "No." He was like, "Man, they do a ton of deals." I was like,
Mm,
"Word." So guess what? I went out and found them a ton of deals. You know what I'm
wow.
saying? So,
Exactly.
and that's how I evolved. Like, you know what I'm saying? I went to work, man. Like, I'm like, what y'all want? They told me what they wanted. I went and found it,
Yeah.
you
See,
know?
that's important. Real quick, I want to touch on that real quick, man. For the new wholesaler, for the new investor getting on here, man. When you guys reach out, like if you guys got a chance to get with those, these cash buyers, these buyers, get their buy boxes, man. Know what these people want. Know what they
Yep.
want, right? So if you got 5, 6 cash buyers and you know what they want, you can literally build your list off what these cash buyers want. Target that list, knock that list down, and then you supply your cash buyers, and then you solving a bunch of problems at the same time.
Right.
So that is awesome, man. So that one check, it set it on fire. So we gonna go to that deal. That was because that was the groundbreaking deal. That was the first deal.
Hmm.
What has been the worst deal?
That might have been my worst deal.
That was the worst. No, I mean like the not like as far as the amount.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, like a situation. Like we're going through a situation now that I got to leave from the VAs last week. We've
Hmm.
been calling the brother and his wife want to sell the property. The other brother in the property, right? So
Hmm.
it was like weeks ago. He was like, "Yeah, well, I work from 7 to 10, so no time's a good time to come and get pictures." I was like, dude, you into that? You know what I mean? So we telling the brother, and the brother like, well, we gave him, he's been there 5 years, and all they paying is the mortgage, and my wife want to sell the place, this and that, this and that. So like, have you ran into any situations like that?
Most definitely. They it's that's wholesaling, right? They all have some type of unique situation. And what's funny though, like I absolutely enjoy doing that because I come in and I used to anyway when I was like really going hard in that area. I would have people call me like, "Yo, Meek, I need you to talk to this owner. We need to get in there and get pictures." And I just go and finesse them, right? Like I
Right.
make a friend, I empathize, I feel them, and I mean, I would have people. I've done deals where people was like, I got 50 people sending me letters, but I really want to work with you. And I'm talking about just as a wholesaler before I was ever even an agent, because I didn't get licensed until 2018. But like, you just make a friend. But that it happens every day. I can't really pull out any particulars because it was so many of them. You know what I mean? I just always made a friend.
Definitely, man. So that empathy part, back to that empathy part, that making a friend, that whole build rapport,
Yep.
right? That that you build with the seller, and you relax them, right? You become relatable, right? If somebody's watching this right now, and let's just say, it's their first time picking up the phone and they trying to call, a lead, what they're trying to call someone off the list that can potentially turn into a lead. As far as empathy goes, as far as, as some people say, mirroring the customer,
Mm-hmm.
tonality matters, things of that nature. What advice would you give somebody, on the phone, their first time on the phone?
My advice would be this: you have to be true to who you are. You have to be authentic, because people see through the bullshit. They hear the bullshit, they see through the bullshit. So when I call somebody, I'm like, hey, Mr. Seller, my name is ShMika. I'm a real estate investor out here in North Carolina, and I'm looking for some properties in your area, right? They automatically, they're like, who is you? Why are you calling me?
Right,
And you just offer your service. Don't worry about what you're going to get paid on the back end, right? Because your check going to come. I think it was Zig Ziglar who used to say, you help enough people get what they want, you're going to get what you want. So you need to find the problem, fix the problem, right? Offer your assistance to fix the problem, but from a genuine perspective. You know what I'm saying? And when you say build rapport is like, oh, you went to Duke University, I went to here. You listen to these people, and they'll tell you, people love to talk about themselves, right? So,
exactly.
my mom had this house, and my daughter grew up here, and you like, word, wow. How long they been there? 30
Right,
years? You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? So a lot of people go in and they just like, hey, I'll give you 20,000 for your $50,000 house. Like, come on, no, we here to solve a problem,
exactly.
and we want, when they walk away, you want that client to say, ShMika and Lenny helped me. I didn't know what I was gonna do until that phone rang, because I had been praying to God for a way out,
Right,
and then the phone rang and these people called me. You know what I'm saying? It was ShMika on the other end of that line, and she got the deal done, right? And I walked away, you know, happy.
right. Happy, yeah, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely, man. Definitely. That is definitely awesome, man. Great advice, man. Great advice. Be yourself. Be authentic. Don't hit them with the mumbo jumbo. Like, the scene say, "Oh yeah, I'm trying to flip a house next week next door, and we just flip a house down the street." And
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You just kept it authentic. Hey, I'm ShMika. I'm a local investor. Buying houses in the area. You know what I mean? And from
that's
there,
simple.
basically kicks off. Yeah, because that doesn't sound scripted.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds natural, right? So when you
Yep.
come off as a salesman, people don't want to be sold over the phone, so they'll automatically put up a wall.
For sure. Like, nobody want to be sold.
What you want? What you calling about my
Yep.
house? What's calling about my
Yep.
house? You know what I
And
mean? Don't
another thing I'll say too is like, this is one of my pet peeves with wholesalers. If you're a wholesaler, truly you're an investor. Wholesaling is just a way to close the deal out, right? So,
exactly.
but if you don't have the money to close the deal, you just be straight up like, hey, I'm really not even looking to buy this house, but I have investor partners that got cash and they put me on the ground to go find a house for them. You know what I'm saying? Because if that deal fall through or the closing don't go through, it's your reputation, because you just told these people you had the cash to buy it. You
Exactly.
see what I'm saying? So it's like, that was the other thing too that set me apart, is that I didn't pretend to be nothing that I wasn't. And back then I didn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, so I really wasn't telling nobody that I was
No,
buying,
right.
right? Like, I'm like, hey, I got partners, which I did. It wasn't allowed to truth.
Yeah. Well,
These guys looking for this type of property, they got cash money and they ready to buy.
it's definitely the truth. I wanted to touch on that really quick, because when you say you got partners, like, those partners guys are investors. those partners are our cash buyers in
Yeah,
this
for
thing,
sure.
right? So when you tell somebody, hey, you got partners who buy, like you aren't lying. You're
Right.
literally keeping it real. Hey, your partners buy real estate. It is, it is what it is, man. There's a few more questions, man, before we go. So we got about 10 minutes left on this thing real quick. I want to dig in. I've seen you at a seminar here. Seen you at a seminar here. I seen you at Grant Cardone, 10X, right? Like I know there's a lot of things that you do, and there's a lot of books, you know what I mean, that actually come with that, right? So, like, what are 3 books that you recommend for my audience, and why?
Um, Man, I've read so many books. That's what I do in my spare time. Like I don't watch TV or none of that. That's why my sister called me Meek the Geek, right? And I
Right,
mean, she's been saying this my whole life. So I love to read. Something like I don't even know, like man, like I don't want to be cliche and say rich dad, poor dad, right?
no, I mean that's
But
not really
I
cliche. I
like
mean that's
I
the
like
book.
things like um the Four Agreements, right? Or like dang, I mean, what am I reading right now? I just got Life Force. That's an awesome book. It's like 600 pages. I just started this probably about a week ago. By Tony Robbins.
Nice.
That's a good one. So I got that on my nightstand right now. I'm reading that. Um, Another book would probably be something like the 4 Minute Manager, I think is what it's called, or Who Moved My Cheese, right? Because it's
Right.
all about mindset. Like I
Yeah,
like to read the books that tweak the mindset, like and give you a different perspective.
most definitely, man. That is awesome. Um, if you could have coffee with one historical figure, who would you choose and why?
Um, it would probably be somebody like Mother Teresa or Martin Luther King Jr. Um, Probably even Malcolm X. You know what I'm saying? Because those people were servant leaders, right? Like they served the people and they became leaders. Um, and that's what it's all about, man.
Definitely, definitely, man. Serving the people, man. Most definitely. What are 3 podcasts? If you listen to any, what are 3 podcasts that you would recommend for my audience and why?
First one will be Wholesaling with Lenny, of course, right? Definitely appreciate what you're doing, man. Like I love how you bring in the realness to this space. Um, I like to listen to people like Miles Monroe. I don't know if it's a podcast because I get a lot of that off of like YouTube. I listen to Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone just gets me excited and riled up and shit like that. He got a big mouth like me.
Yes,
um, I listen to um I'll listen to anything for real, man. Like I don't have no favorites. I don't have no playlist. I just
right.
whatever mood I'm in is what I listen to. I like E.T., the hip hop preacher again because he's loud and he's just like himself. Gary V is one of my favorites. Because those people keep it real, and as
They
you can
do,
see,
they
I
do,
like to
they
keep it
do,
real, man.
they
Like
do.
I ain't got time to be faking.
Yeah, I was watching one the other day here at times. Actually, I was actually running to it on a treadmill, and
Hmm.
he was talking about how he ain't really, how he went from, you know, dropping out of school at 16 to being homeless, to eating out of garbage cans, going back getting his GED, to getting his PhD,
Hmm.
and now it's just pretty much elevation. It's
Yeah,
elevation.
from there,
Yeah,
and
so
he made that decision, right? Like he was like,
that,
man.
like you said,
It's either this or this, right?
make
Like
that
these
decision,
are my options.
right? Make it happen, dig in, and
Yep.
yeah, get it going, man. If you could go back, if you can go back and give your 18-year-old self some advice, what would it be?
It probably would be to stay focused and grind. I got a 20-year-old and a 19-year-old, and I just put my 19-year-old in this business, and I knew he was gonna take off, right? And I was just telling him last night. I said, "Bro, if somebody would have showed me this when I was 19, I'd be 40 by the grace of God. Come December, I'd be rich, right? Like, if somebody would have started me off at 18 in this space of entrepreneurship, and I came from generations of entrepreneur. My mom and her dad were both entrepreneurs, but they didn't get the personal development. They didn't rub elbows with different people. They just had these ideas. And I would tell my 18-year-old self, like, just go. Like, nothing can stop you. Nothing can stop you. Just go.
Right.
If you fuck up, you start over, you do it again, and you just keep going. And by the time you're 40, you sit on a beach with a cocktail and you just making money. Your money making money for you. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So just keep it moving. Keep your head down and grind.
And grind. And absorb everything that you can. See, this generation of kids, they know everything.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
saying?
They
got us beat right now.
Yeah, like
on the beat side, like anything they could do.
Like, so, I'll be sucking up everything right now.
Most definitely. So, where do you think the world would be in the next 50 years?
50 years?
And let's not even do 50. Where do you think the world going to be in the next 50 years? Matter of fact, let's not even deal with where the world going to be in the next 5 years. Where Meek the House Geek going to be in the next 5 years?
Next 5 years, man. I'm planning to, I'm really contemplating on getting me an RV and selling everything and just taking me and my little people, my second set of kids, and just traveling the world, man. Like, just want to be free. So in 5 years, I'll be 45. I plan to be retired, right? Like, I want enough money in the bank where I ain't got to worry about nothing. I want enough passive income coming in, where I could just show up and show my face. I think I ain't even gonna say I'm gonna think, because me and you had this conversation like 5 days ago, where I know God created me to inspire and encourage people. So I am in the process of launching something. I don't know if it's gonna be a podcast, a YouTube, but I have to use my gift and serve my people like God created me to do. So 5 years from now, I'll be in an RV, just traveling the world, sharing my story. That's where I'm gonna be. Right. Get money.
Pulling up to the events.
Yeah, in my RV.
Yeah, the big boy. I know that's right, man. That is what's up, man. So, hey, man, tell the people how they can find you, man. Tell the people how they can get in touch with you. Put your brand on, man.
On Instagram, I'll Meek the House Geek, but I don't even really I'm trying to work on getting into social media, so I've been posting some stuff the last couple days. But Meek the House Geek on Instagram. After you posted the post, a lot of your followers must have went to my realtor page on Facebook, because it was like 21 new views. I'm like, shit, I forgot I even had that page. So I'm on there at ShMika Jackson. I'm on Facebook at ShMika Jackson. I think my daughter might have made a TikTok. I'm not really sure. But I did create a Facebook group about a year ago. And I just kind of been sitting on it, but it's Bankable Billionaires. And what I'm about to do here in the next couple of weeks is I'm really about to dig into helping people become bankable, because that's the way that we're going to be able to buy these properties up and take our cities back, take our communities back, take our country back, and become the people that own these properties in our areas. And that's what I'm ready to focus on, how to position more of people that look like me, more single mothers, to be able to position themselves to own some real estate, some real estate. And I ain't talking about like inner city properties. I'm talking about, you
McDonald's.
know, exactly.
We talking about McDonald's. Exactly. So,
So
hey
bankable
man,
billionaires, join the group.
most definitely, man. Guys, join that group. What is it one more time?
Bankable billionaires.
Bankable Billionaires, guys. Go join that group. What do they send the deals to?
They send the deals. I'm meekthehousegeek@gmail.com. Send the
Guys,
deals. I got buyers for sure. Like we got that. We got buyers. Um, yeah, especially some big boys. I need some 32 units.
Meek the
Hit up.
House Geek at gmail.com.
Yep, meekthehousegeek@gmail.com.
It's on real quick. So everybody, guys, if you guys see it, check it out real quick, guys. That's where you want to send those deals to, guys. You got deals, guys, send them. Right there, Meek the House Geek at gmail.com. Man, Meek, I'm going to let you go. Because I know, guys, she actually at the football practice right now, guys. She at the football practice for her son. She took the time out, man, jump on the podcast. Meek, man, me and my audience, man, we definitely appreciate you, man. Guys.
Well, it is an honor. I appreciate you guys.
Guys,
I'll see everybody at the top.
No doubt. Guys, once again, this is Miss ShMika Jackson, KeyMeek Investments. Guys, this is where you guys want to send your deals to Meek the House Geek at gmail.com. And guys, don't forget to drop me some too at allcashbuyers.org. Guys, let's go. ShMika, you have a good one. See you guys later.
All right, thanks.